Hello, welcome to easyodds.com. My name is Ross Casey. I am here with the horse racing extraordinaire, that is Jake Johns, and we're back again for yet another Cheltenham Festival video. We're going to be going through the Grade 1 Novice hurdles this time around. We've got the Supreme, we've got the Neptune, and we've got the Albert Bartlett. So without any further ado, let's swing into those tips of our man, Jake Johns.
Okay, right. The first race of the entire meeting, the first race of Tuesday, the best race of the meeting, in my opinion, is the Supreme Novice Hurdle. It's just so exciting. Brings so many fantastic horses to the forefront. They all race against each other, and then you get some unbelievable horses come from the race. Last 3 years, Duvan, Vautour, and Altior, in 3 consecutive years, 3 absolute beasts to come out of this race. It's a real test of speed, run over 2 miles at Cheltenham. And yeah, same as always, we've got a Willie Mullins, short price favourite, but not mentally short. But when you think that, I think Duvan or Vautour was about 7-2, I think, when he won, and at the moment Mellon is 11-4.
Well, that's just silly.
I just think that is just crazy. That is just crazy. He's achieved relatively little. Well, when I say relatively, not much at all. He's won a maiden at Leopardstown. Very, very impressive. Don't get me wrong. Jumped really, really well. Very low. Attacks his hurdles very quick in the air. And showed a massive engine. But it was a maiden, and that's all he's done so far. I'm not saying that he couldn't be a superstar. I mean, he could definitely be a superstar. Obviously, he's in the right yard and stuff, but yeah, from pure form and what we've seen so far, 11-4 is way too short for me. Way too short. Everyone knows that I'm a Moon Racer fan. I've been banging on it for years in the bloody Cheltenham preview. I'm a big fan of Moon Racer. You can get him at 11-2, which is actually decent value, I think. I think he's actually underrated as a horse. In the Champion Hurdle video even, obviously I just tipped him as a flyer in the Champion Hurdle. I'm not going to abandon him now. He's not the flashiest horse in the world. He doesn't do everything completely on the bridle in crazy quick times or anything. But when you look for his form, he's just rock solid in what looked a pretty weak renewal of this race compared to other years. They haven't made a concrete decision, I don't think, yet on whether he's going to go in the Champion Hurdle or this. Okay. But basically all I'm hearing is they're going to the Supreme, which is kind of understandable considering he hasn't had his prep run that he wanted, and he's had an interrupted preparation for this race. The plan was always to have a mid-season break after a really condensed, really heavy, loads and loads of races in the first part of the season. You remember he started very early in that race against Ballyandy at Perth. He was going to have a mid-season break, 1 race and then here, but they couldn't get him back to a full fitness basically. Yeah. But what I probably think has happened is he's probably about 85% fit at the moment when they wanted to run him, like he was at Perth, and probably for his first couple of runs. And so they didn't want to get a too hard race into him when he's not fully fit, and he goes really well fresh anyway, so they just thought we'll just get him perfect for the Supreme or the Champion Hurdle or whatever, and yeah, that'd be that. Banged on about his form quite a lot in quite a few videos and quite a few articles and stuff, so I'm not going to go into it massively, but basically he's been beaten once. He's unbeaten in 3 starts at Cheltenham, and he's won at the festival. The win at the festival came in the Champion Bumper when he completely missed the start. Came from miles back and won very well in a very hot bumper as well that year. His loss came in Punchestown after more than a year off to Blow by Blow, who's a fantastic horse, and he probably should have won, well, he definitely should have won that day. Made a taking move coming around the bend, very eye-catching, showed great gears, but was too early. I think it was, who was riding? Jamie Codd, I think, but yeah, wasn't the best ride. But anyway, should have won that day. But that's the only time he's ever lost. He was completely unsuited by the slow pace. It was a nothing race at Cheltenham that he won this year, but it wasn't. He wouldn't have liked that either at all. It was a weird race. They dawdled for the first half of the race, okay. But he did it really well. He was unsuited by the small field as well. He'd be better in a bigger field. And anyway, the 3rd and 5th recently pulled 6 lengths clear in the Betfair Hurdle. So I mean, even though the race was a farce, the form was pretty good. Yeah. So just because it's a terrible looking race doesn't mean the horses in it aren't that good. I think he's really, really good bet at 6-1. You can still get him in what looks a pretty weak Supreme on paper. And now this one is the one that people are going to laugh at me for.
Okay.
And have a nice crack. Have a nice crack at me. But anyway, it's a massively open race. So I've been thinking there could be a big price winner. It's so I can't really get a handle on who's going to run, what's going to happen, or who's going to be the favourites, who's not going to be the favourite. But anyway, there's a horse called La Bake.
Okay.
Runs for Gordon Elliott. Former flat horse. He's refused to race on 4 of his last 6 starts.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
Okay. That's a good stat, isn't it? Going back at him, he's refused to race on 4 of his last 6 starts. That makes horrendous reading, I understand, but give me a chance.
Okay.
Give me a chance. His 2 wins for Gordon Elliott have been very, very striking, making me think that he's got a lot of talent, a hell of a lot of talent. And if he can get to the bottom, if he can just calm him down or just whatever, just not calm him down, definitely don't calm him down anymore, but just get him to run, just try and understand why he's not starting. And
yeah.
It's going to be Gordon Elliott's the sort of person that will be able to do this kind of thing. He could be very, very good. His maiden win came at Punchestown when he just dismantled a pretty poor field by over 5 lengths. But what was more interesting was his eye-catching win in the Grade 3 Novice Hurdle at Navan. He was dodgy at the start that day as well. Ruby Walsh had to kind of get him going. But when Ruby pressed the button, his turn of foot was astonishing. It was very, very, very good. He made up lengths and lengths and lengths in seconds. Easily got the better of Mick Jazz, who has since beaten Mullins Hot Pot and Supreme hopeful Silios Emery quite easily as well, at decent odds. But a lot of people were tipping Silios Emery for the Supreme. Mick Jazz has beaten him, and La Bake has already beaten Mick Jazz really easily in a crazy style as well, just showing mental gears. He's running this weekend, hopefully. I mean, he's entered a Naas on Sunday. At Naas, sorry. And I just... If he goes there, he has to start. So maybe... Okay. I wouldn't back him now. You can get him at the moment at 50-1. I actually got him on the exchanges at 1,000 earlier today. But yeah, you get him on the exchanges at 51. I've also read somewhere that Gordon Elliott has stated that the Supreme will be the target if they can get into him and get him starting races. Then he is not the worst 51 shot in the world by any means. Obviously, yeah, he's running on Sunday. If he refuses to race again, no bet. He won't go here anyway. They'll try and back to the drawing board. But what I would do is either you could wait until this race starts, look on the exchanges, and then back and then, because it's not going to move that much, because no one's going to care really looking at it. No one's going to be really concentrating on him. So if he does start in that race, maybe back him then, because I think he'll probably win if he does start. If he does manage to start on Sunday, because it's not that deep a race. But anyway, that's the Supreme done. Moon Racer at 6-1, La Bake at 50-1. Obviously, Charlie Parks is another one for the Supreme, but Nicky Henderson had a press day today for Cheltenham, and he basically said that he thinks that he wants Charlie Parks to go to the Triumph. Obviously, JP McManus might have other thoughts, but yeah, I think he could go to the. I think he could go to the Supreme, but he also could go to the Triumph. The Triumph looks like a fantastic race, to be fair. But yeah, Moon Racer and La Bake at the moment, 6-1 and 50-1.
Excellent stuff. So what is the next race that we're going to go on to now?
The next race is the Neptune.
Neptune is the next selection, and without any further ado, let's hear Jake's option on this one.
Okay, next up is the Neptune. Don't have a massive play on this at the moment, haven't written my article on it yet, but there are a couple of interesting ones in there that I will go through. It is honestly, this is completely, I have not a clue what is going to run in this. Obviously there's a couple at the top of the market that are almost definitely going to run. Finian's Oscar and Neon Wolf, both solid, both unbeaten. Finian's Oscar, obviously won at Sandown, Grade 1, really impressive style. The time wasn't great. You could argue that Capitaine Wasn't at his best that day, and he made a bit of a mistake. And then he wasn't great last time either. Phineas Oscar, a price of 1-16 at Exeter, won by 4.5 lengths. But he is rock solid, and he's improving, and he'll enjoy the step up in distance. A chaser in the making. Everyone says that. It's the most classic cliche phrase ever, but he really is a chaser in the making. Neon Wolf. His final sectionals were very, very impressive when he absolutely destroyed Elgin. He's massively on the upgrade, and the form is all right from his races before Exeter and Uttoxeter. Of the two, I'd probably just side with Neon Wolf. At the prices, you can get him about 9-2. Phineas Oscar, best price 4-1. So out of those two, I'd probably side with Neon Wolf. Looking down the order, one that I really, really like that I think might not go in this, which is annoying, is Let's Dance, who I think is going to go for the Mare's Novice Hurdle, but I don't think she should. The Mare's Novice Hurdle could be a fantastic race with Arley Beach as well, and I would still prefer Let's Dance against Arley Beach anyway, but Arley Beach is also an absolute beast. But I really like Let's Dance. I think she should go in this, but I don't think she will. Form stacking up really, really, really nicely. She is unbeaten this season. And the last couple of runs she's been absolutely fantastic, especially in Grade 2 last time against Kenboy. 6 lengths, beat by 6 lengths. It was just jumped fantastically. Also beat Shattered Love at Punchestown in November. That's really good form. Shattered Love has won twice since, I think. So I think she's a mare going places. It's just annoying because I'm pretty certain that she's going to go to the thingy. But yeah, that's the only one, the only other one in the lineup that I really kind of fancy for this Neptune this year. I need to know where horses are going and stuff. I might have to wait very, very late until I even get any kind of hold on here. I'll just quickly look down the order, see if there's anything a bit interesting. I think LeBake is still interested in this. Obviously, I was really into Peregrine Run. We'll talk about him in the Albert Bartlett, but he was withdrawn from this today, actually. So I've talked about him in the Cheltenham preview. I think he's a really good horse, and he's massively overpriced for the Albert Bartlett as well. But yeah, haven't got a massive play in the Neptune, but the one that I like is Let's Dance if she goes here, and of the two that are almost definitely going to run, I'll probably go Neon Wolf over Phineas Oscar about 9-2. Let's Dance is about, you can get her at 16-1 in the places that are not doing non-run and no bet. So if you want to risk it, if she does run, then she with the non-run and no bet, she is 8-1. So that's all right. I'll probably go 8-1 non-run and no bet's decent. So yeah, you get actually 9-1 non-run and no bet as well. But yeah, on to the next one. The final one is the Albert Bartlett, or the Potato Race. Right, in the Albert Bartlett, the favourite is Death Duty. A little too short for me at 9-4. I would prefer to go to the Neptune with him, actually. Obviously done nothing wrong this season. I've actually tipped him a couple of times, and he's just battered everything. But I think he's actually got a bit more speed than everyone gives him credit for, and this is a killer race. So I would have just kept it easy and put him in the Neptune, and I think he probably would have been as good over at that distance anyway. West Approach came out of Novice Company last couple of times, currently second favourite, was 30 Harry, staying on, superb ride by Ruby Walsh in the Cleve Hurdle last time at Cheltenham, just perfectly timed. He won't be riding, of course, in this race, because obviously there's going to be a Willie Mullins horse that's going to be well fancied. Holdstone, only beaten once this season. No, twice, sorry, but in his last 5 starts, only beaten once, and that was by Peregrine Run, who I mentioned in the previous video, who is a beastly price fifth. I think he's about 25-1 with the without non-run and no bet. Would have hated Warwick last time. I thought that maybe the class would have shone through with him anyway, but clearly just does not like soft ground. Would have got second had he not chased after the Willoughby Court, the leader, who loved the soft ground, and just got tired and made 2 mistakes in the last couple of hurdles. But before that, he was beating Holstone, travelled so nicely for his races. Breach Screaming Rose travelled really nicely in that. in Holstone, he was just held onto for ages after last, and then just pulled away. That was very, very impressive. Obviously, he's a much, much bigger price than Holstone, and he had massive excuses last time. So if he does go here, I don't know, the plan is not for definite that he's going to go to Cheltenham, but if he does, I think he is a superb price at 25 to 1. That is a fantastic bet. It's pretty small, stable, Peter Fahey. I just think he's a decent price at 25 to 1. Another one that I like that I mentioned before is in the Cheltenham preview video is Pen Hill, who is a Willie Mullins horse. A little bit of a forgotten horse. You can still get him at 20 to 1. Won at Limerick over Christmas. I mentioned this in the preview video actually. Very, very impressive when stepped up to 3 miles. Was actually quite unlucky behind Arley Beach the time before that. Got hampered and had no chance after that in a Grade 1, sorry. And yeah, he was really, really good when stepped up to 3 miles. He's a real slogger. If the ground comes up soft, I'll be even more interested in him, which is, it could happen. And but even on goodish ground over 3 miles, good to soft, I think he'll be all right in that. Hopefully, he'll get Paul Townend on him on board because he seems to get on well with him that time. And I think this is going to be the plan. He's only entered in the Albert Bartlett. He has got a decent chance as well. But once again, haven't got a massive play in this at the moment. But those are the two that I'm really concentrating on at the moment. I'm pretty keen for Peregrine Run, but is he going to run here? It's not absolutely guaranteed. I think he should because Cheltenham. He's already won at Cheltenham this season. He travels really, really well, which isn't always the best asset to have in the Albert Bartlett. But he's got a big engine, and I think he's got a good chance. And also Pen Hill as well, especially if it comes up soft.
So there you go, there's 3 races previewed by our man Jake Johns. 2 tips in the Supreme with Moonracer at 6 to 1 and an each way play of Labiki, is that how you say it?
Lebaik. It might be Lebaik. I don't know actually. We could all be wrong.
We'll put it up in typo there so it's easily read.
Yeah.
So there's 2 plays there and also a kind of a breeze through the other 2 races there, the Neptune and the Albert Bartlett. No real particular plays at the moment, but really wise betting appraisals for many of the horses that could well run in those races. And closer to the festival, those tips will be up as an outright tip from our man Jake John. So make sure that you do follow us at easyodds.com, whether it be on our apps, our desktop service, or our mobile site. And of course, our social media, including the YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to right about now. So yes, thanks very much for watching, and don't forget that this is sponsored by our friends Coral, who have got a brilliant opening offer of bet just £5 and get £30 free, which is an excellent startup offer if you haven't got a Coral account yet. And last but not least, don't forget to download our Cheltenham app, which features the best odds, the best tips, the best free bets, and the best offers for every race at Cheltenham Festival. So thanks very much for watching. This is easyodds.com. I'm Ross Casey, and this is Jake Johns.